afternoon I'm going to share just a few things with you on some thoughts about some questions new people usually have in their mind. Everything you always wanted to ask and did and got the answer and didn't like it and want to hear it from someone else. So that's what I thought I'd talk about just a little bit. One of the first questions I always hear is, okay, so what's my role here? I say, well, so what would you like your role to be? Now, if you're single, your role is everything. You got to do everything. Whether you're male or female, doesn't matter. You're going to carry the ball for the whole team. When you're married, you're part of a team. So what you do depends on who you're married to. In other words, some guys like to do everything. You know, they make the phone calls, they set up the meetings, they do the plan, they move products, they do the call-in. They do everything. And what does she do? All she does is keep them excited. That's it, period. Smiles, you know, looks real pretty, washes his clothes, whatever. Some women don't do anything. Well, that's like 0.5%. And if you're one of those, God bless you, got it made. Just keep on doing it, you know. Okay, now, if you're the type of gal that maybe your husband wants to do the plan and he wants to do the contacting and he wants you to do some contacting and he wants you to do some paperwork and he wants you to be right there with them, then hey, that's what you got to do. You got to do what it is that makes your team fly. Some guys maybe a little shy, a little laid back, and so their wives have to maybe make some more contacts, maybe set up the meetings, because he's maybe a little more shy to do that. So she has a much more active role. Some gals are going to show the plan. Some women are going to just have to show the plan. Some couples work it together. I mean, it works all ways. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no his, there's no hers. What it is it's whatever the team is that you have, and whatever the talents and abilities you have are what you use. It's crazy to me for a guy to have this bubbly, excited wife, and she has to shut up for forever because he won't let her say anything. See, he needs to take advantage of that. The only thing is he needs to tell her when he wants her to talk and when he wants her to not talk. And I think it's such a great business because of that fact that you can be whatever team you are. Now, here's where it gets a little murky. It gets a little murky when you're looking at someone else and you say, well, hey, she doesn't do that, or he doesn't do that, or they do this different. Hey, you do what you got to do. See, that's why you need to counsel. That's why you get in with your upline and you counsel, because you perfect the team. And you list out the strengths and weaknesses of each, and you put them together, and boy, you got a whole wonderful, magnificent machine moving ahead, moving forward. So what's my role? My role is whatever it has to be. I do what it is according to the need of our business. That's my role. Okay, so do I really have to get names? Do you want names? You know, it's sort of self-explanatory, but sometimes gals come to me and they say, well, hey, I know some women get names, and I know I really should help them, and I want to show the plan more, and but I'm kind of shy, and I don't want to make those calls. I said, well, don't make them. And some gals say, but I want him to do more. I said, well, if you want him to do more, why don't you do more? Maybe he'll do more because you did more. Doesn't matter more what, just more. It's okay. Oh, I like this one. So, do I have to sell products? No. You don't have to do anything. And neither does your people you sponsor. They don't have to sell products either. Nobody has to do anything except breathe. That's all you got to do. Now, do you have to sell products? Well, if you ever want anyone in your group to ever sell them, yeah. We've got PV. How do you create PV? Well, basically 3 ways you create PV, right? Number 1 is your personal PV. That's the product you use for yourself. How else do we create PV? We create PV wholesale PV. And then we have retail PV. Most people, when they're getting started, let's face it, the majority of PV is yourself. It's personal PV. And then it's retail PV. It's the products you sell. And then it's wholesale PV. Depending on how your group is structured and how fast you get in and how fast you get people going, most of the volume is personal in the beginning. And then it becomes retail because you're going to sell a little, they sell a little. And then as your organization grows, it becomes wholesale PV, meaning group PV. So that when someone says, what's your PV, you got to say, which PV do you mean? I got 3 PVs. Which would you like to hear? Oh, okay. See, now sometimes you get a little embarrassed. Say, well, I use the product. My group uses the product, but we don't like to sell. Hey, don't sell. Who cares? It's your PV check, not ours. But now, if you want optimum results, then I suggest to sell for a little while. Why? Because you're going to want PV, and you're going to want to set goals, and somebody's got to do something to create it, unless you guys use a ton of products yourself. See, you know what I like? I like to sponsor people that like to do what I don't like to do. And when I get in, I didn't like to sell. I mean, it wasn't my favorite thing to do. I didn't beg God to let me sell, you know? Sort of the other way around. But I found myself in a situation where I was a group of one. And if we're going to have any volume, that it had to get moved somewhere. So I went out and sold some products. And you know what happened when I did that? Guess what I talked about to our people all the time? Selling products. Guess what they did? They went out and sold some products, and guess what they did? They talked to their people about it, too. Now, here's the reverse of that. I use the product, so I talk about using the product, so my people use the product, we all use the product. So what works best? What works best is a little bit of both, a nice little balance in there. Not a whole lot of retail, not a whole lot of not. Just kind of like a balance. Some people get in and they don't want to retail. Hey, don't retail. The only time people really retail is when they have a goal anyway, right? If you got a really big goal, you're going to retail. You got a little goal, you might retail. So when people say to me, do I have to sell? I say, hey, you don't have to do anything. I don't care what you do. Now, if you want to know what to do for the long range, then I suggest you do some selling, or you'll never be able to expect the people in your group to do it. Because, see, you've never done it, then you're not going to feel good about telling them to do it. So do it for a little while anyway. Do I sell products today? Probably more than I did then, but not in the same way all the time. I do what I want to do here. See what I'm saying? If you do anything in the beginning in a good, strong way, and you build a base for yourself, then as things go on up, it gets easier. See, in the beginning, I had to do all the paperwork. I had to take the orders, stay up, my eyes, add up, do all that. Today, I don't do any of it. We have an office staff that does the calling. Everything's on computer. I don't do anything. I don't do anything. I just order other people around. It's really great. But see, there was a base for that. I didn't, just out of the blue. I had to earn my freight. So, you're going to earn your freight. So don't ever worry about, do I have to do this because I don't like to. Do it for a time. Everything's for a time. Okay. Self-use. Why is that so important? You say, well, hey, I'm a mature person sitting here. I really don't need to listen to this self-use stuff. Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you. Nobody likes all the products all the time. But don't tell anybody. That's the secret here. See, I like our products. I think we have the best products in the world. But there are a few that just aren't for me. But you know what? I don't go telling everybody about it. Because I found out when I first got in the business, I'll give you a little example. A Family Bar soap years ago, I didn't like it. It was yellow, it smelled funny, I didn't like it. So I'd always tell my people, oh, the products are great except Family Bar. Well, of course, we never moved any Family Bar, not that I was curious as to why. I said, gee, this is a funny thing, I better shut my mouth or we're never going to have anybody use soap and they're all going to, what, boy. So anyway, I said to myself, okay, now, wait a minute. Let's get logical. Let's find out why this product's good. It's got to be good. The corporation makes great products. What's good about this product? So I said, okay, I'll study it up. I'll read my blue book. I'll get some info. I'll make myself like this product. So that's what I did. I found out it's super-fatted soap. It was made with super fat, didn't have perfume, didn't have anything in it to irritate, that people with the most delicate skin in the world could use that soap, and babies could use it, burn victims could use it. Anybody could use that soap because it was so mild and so great. And it lasted forever. I mean, it was hard mill, French mill, hard mill, and it would last forever. And when it wore down at the bottom, it wasn't slimy and greasy. It was still hard and still firm, and after you used it, it dried out. And I thought, this stuff's pretty darn good. Whoa! So, guess what I started talking about? How good it was. Guess what happened? Everybody started buying it. We started moving cases through the group. Get your Family Bar, get your Family Bar. It was great. It was wonderful. So I learned a valuable lesson. And I'm just passing it on to you, word to the wise. If you don't like something, zip it up. Don't tell anyone. Just don't talk about it. How many nights do I have to go out with my husband? As many as it takes. Depends on your situation. Some gals today work all day. They have little children. They have to take care of the children. They have to take care of the house. They have to please their husband. They have to take care of him. They have, they're at all odds. And so their situation of going out is going to be a little different than the gal that maybe her kids are older, maybe she doesn't work. So what I say fit it in as best you can. And if you're doing a personal, make that your priority meetings. In other words, when you're going to sit down and show the plan with your husband, make that the most important things you go to. That and if you have an open opportunity meeting in the area, make those your most important things along with the functions. But as far as working other depths, or if you're married and you're showing a single person, if it's a guy, then you don't really need to be there. In other words, counsel about this, talk it over, but no, you don't have to be at everything all the time. See, it's a personal business, and it fits and molds into our lives. So you don't have to fit and mold yourself into something. Something's going to fit and mold into you. The only thing is be intelligent about the things you say. And remember this, what's good for you may not be what someone else is willing to do. And you have to kind of have patience with people in the beginning. Sometimes we want people just to give up everything and jump into this thing. And some people aren't willing to do that. And we don't want to lose people because we're expecting them to give up everything for this business. The business, as more and more it becomes a real drive and a real yearn to have the things, people automatically will put other things aside and make this number one. So when gals say, do I have to go out all the time? Say, hey, ask your husband, counsel about it, find out what's important for you to be at. And just kind of adjust yourself. Don't feel guilty if you can't do as much in the business as someone else is doing. As long as one of you is excited and moving on and showing the plan. And that's number one, is to show the plan and get that done. Building relationships. All I hear about is building relationships. How do I build a relationship? Very simple. Just make a friend. It's not some big thing you have to sit and do. Oh, well, I've really got to build a relationship. No, just make a friend. Be nice. Be cheerful. Be helpful. Be everything I wasn't in the beginning. That's how I learned how to build relationships. I had enough unrelationships that I learned how to make relationships. And I found out when I was nice to people, guess what? They were actually nice back. I thought, this is great. And when I respected people, I thought, boy, they respect me. And then I learned this valuable thing. Of course, it's been in the books forever. God wrote this law into existence with lightning in the sky, but I didn't think about that. Whatever I do to you is what I can expect back to me. Whatever I plant will grow. So I thought, well, if I plant seeds of kindness and joy and love and excitement, that's what I'll get back in my life. But if I'm critical and I'm always talking about them, always seeing their weak points, and I'm always expecting this and that and perfection, then what I'm going to get back is all that to me. So I learned that relationship is no more than friendship. Oh. Who's the leader in the home? Who should be the leader? You say, well, why am I saying who should be the leader? We all know who the leader is. The leader's the leader. Sometimes it's the husband. Sometimes it's the wife. Sometimes some kids lead the home. Some pets lead the home. Some mother-in-laws lead the home. Some grandparents are the leaders. I don't know. It depends on who's in the home, I guess, and who chooses to be the leader. Sometimes there's a lot of leaders in the home, which means there's no leader. If you've got more than one leader, you have no leader. You understand that, right? Some women like to think, well, I'm a leader here, he's a leader there. No, there's one leader in the home. Now, this is the way it works. Sometimes women, not all women, but some women, I'll use myself as I'm a good example, and I know myself. I used to pretend Jim was the leader in the beginning, and I would say, Jim's the leader. Of course, I knew in my heart I was the leader. But I didn't tell him that. See? I would always say he was the leader. Of course, they didn't quite believe me when I'd tell them what to do in front of them. So I thought, well, wait a minute now. I can't correct them in front of people. I got to be real good. So I won't say anything in public. I'll just do it at home alone. And that way nobody knows. No, I'll think he's the leader, but really, I'm the leader. Well, this is what I found out. If Jim didn't feel like he was able to lead me, he didn't feel like he was able to lead anyone. And I thought, this is stupid. He's been leading me all my life in terms of my life when it started with him. And I've always listened to him. Why is it different now? Why suddenly we're in this business do I think that I'm smarter than he is?